What is up, internet people? Welcome back to another Talks Online. We have got the wonderful Matt Fitz joining us. How are you, Matt?
I'm very well.
Good. How you been getting on?
Just been relaxing after another hard day at work. So. Are
you still in work?
I'm still in work. I was meant to have been furloughed, but I wasn't. I'm sort of one of the handful of people at my place that hasn't been furloughed yet. So.
Yeah, so I was the same. I was supposed to be furloughed, then I wasn't, and now I am. It's all a bit confusing, but hey, we can only cope with what we've got.
It's a confusing time at the moment, anyway. So.
So you're not the only person in Talks Online that's got a drink with them. Michael normally has one.
Well, it's got to be done.
Yeah, you got to find the little pleasures, haven't you?
Well, yeah. Yeah, that is true.
Right, so getting into the interview, obviously you are a cosplayer. You've done costumes in the past. Do you want to tell the audience who you've done? Because obviously you're menacingly holding your Freddy Krueger claws.
Well, I thought I might as well put a little bit of the main one on at the moment. It's a little bit too warm, even though it's not exactly warm today, but it's a bit warm to wear the rest of it. But then saying that the mask has seen the end of its lifetime, as it were, the one that I've been using. So.
Yeah, I mean, what's that mask made out of? It's just like latex or something.
Yeah, it was a latex mask. It was one that I had actually won in a raffle that one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook did 8 years ago, and I was actually surprised that I actually got something from it. Yeah, I've been using that one for the past sort of like 6 years of when I started cosplaying Freddy. I started cosplaying him in 2013, basically as a backup plan. That wasn't the main cosplay idea I had at the time when I started to think about doing cosplay. The original plan at the time was to do James Bond, which I did then 3 years later. No, sorry, a year later. Forgive me, I forgot I did it in Milton Keynes in 2014. But I was originally going to do Bond for one of the Collector Manias in 2013.
Yeah.
Had the replica gun, but didn't have anything else for it. And I thought, well, I wanted to get into dressing up and whatever and that sort of thing. And I thought to myself, well, I've pretty much got everything to do with Freddy apart from the hat. But then saying that, if you're familiar with the movies, especially the original ones, every time he dies, he never wears his hat anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I've got the glove, I've got the mask, I've got the sweater, I've got use a pair of old work trousers that I've had lying around, and just basically went this Freddy. Basically, not really looked back from it since.
Yeah, and so you find that sometimes when you do your cosplay and stuff, you do find that like things at home you can use for a costume. I mean, I've got an old lab coat that I've rarely worn. I've only started wearing it recently because of my new job, but it's not required. So I'm going to repurpose it into a costume for one of my future ones. So I'm going to do.
Closet cosplays do really work, especially if you're in a situation where you haven't got much money to try and purchase something new for it. You just basically look at what you've got in your wardrobe and that sort of thing. And that was the main item, or sort of like the main thing that I had going in my head when I put together my own version of the Doctor. I had like a long black coat which I had since about 25 years ago. I'm surprised it still fits me. Just a normal pair of black jeans. I had a white, funny enough, I was using my white dress shirt that I bought for Bond when I did Bond in 2014. So I thought I had that lying around because I thought do something a little bit flamboyant. You think about all the Doctors in the past, especially the likes of John Pertwee. He always used to wear really flamboyant shirts as part of his outfit when he was playing the Doctor in the 70s. So I thought I'd try and do something along those lines. And the only thing I bought for it was a waistcoat, and I was looking at various waistcoats on eBay, thinking what would be ideal for the Doctor. And originally I was looking at one which was like galaxy type pattern, you know, like the Milky Way and stars and stuff like that. I said, well, yeah, he travels through space and that sort of thing. So I thought, well, that would be ideal. But then I found the one which I've used a couple of times. In fact, the Northampton Comic Con in 2017, as well as the LFCC of that year, is what I cosplayed, that my version of the Doctor there. I found the waistcoat where it's sort of like pocket watches. And I thought that is more in tune to what the Doctor is. I mean, okay, he travels through time and space, but then if you think about some of the recent episodes, especially when it came back in 2005, where you've got the idea of like the fob watch, which almost sort of acts like a perception filter and hides the essence of the Doctor when he sort of becomes human. So I thought it was sort of like that a little bit as well. I thought to myself, well, they go together really well, and I thought it's pretty much how anybody was doing their own version of the Doctor, like I did at the time, thinking about what he would wear. That would be something he would wear, and I went for that. And it worked really, really well.
Yeah, you mentioned the Northampton Comic Con 2017, obviously having quite a special memory for me.
Yes, definitely.
Obviously, there was a lot of people there, and
yes, I was there at the back.
Yep, yeah, we had a lot of people there for that day. And if people don't know, me and Huskey Ninja got engaged at Northampton Comic Con 2017 a year after.
Remember it well.
Yeah, we met in 2016, got engaged 2017, and then the weekend of the 2019 convention we got married. So it's a special date for us. But yeah, so with the conventions practically being cancelled for the rest of the year, is there any plans you have for future possible conventions or future costumes you want to do?
Well, I've sort of not so much given up on the idea of cosplay. I've taken a step back from it for the moment. Yeah. Especially when I went to the Milton Keynes one last year. Yeah. The first one that was held independently. And I just went normally. I wanted to sort of try and get back to the idea of going to conventions, not as a cosplayer, but as a regular member of the public. Yeah. But obviously with the Northampton Comic Con that was held last year for the 2 days, obviously the first day I went in costume. I went as Freddy, which was was the last time that I cosplayed, and it's pretty much the last time that I will be cosplaying him for the moment until I can actually get hold of a better mask. Because when I took it off that day, to give myself a bit of a rest from it and also let my skin breathe a bit, because it does get hot under that mask. Yeah, I can does get hot under there, especially 5 years prior to that one, which I'll mention about in a moment. But I noticed when I took the mask off last year that there was like a 2-inch tear along the side. Yeah. And so I thought to myself, well, there's no way that is going to be able to be repaired. If I do, it would end up being like, I don't know, using long strips you normally find in like a bicycle repair kit. It probably won't last that long anyway. Yeah. But I mean, it's had a good 6 years use out of it, so I can't complain. But I have been looking along the lines of masks that are silicone. They're not cheap, but they're a lot more lightweight, and I don't think you tend to sort of like get hot as much as you do with a latex one. That's the problem with latex, because it does not give whatsoever, and because it's so thick, the way I describe it when I'm wearing the mask is like I feel like in my own hellish sauna. I can feel myself starting to perspire about a few seconds after I put it on, and it's great for taking it off and trying to put it back on again, because you've got like the lubrication already there from my own sweat, which isn't exactly the sort of thing you want to hear. But it's I say it does get really, really hot in there. And like I said, 5 years prior to that, I was at the London Film and Comic Con that Stan Lee was there, and it was the hot summer of 2014. 26 to 27 degrees out in the sun.
Oh dear.
Trying to cool down in the shade was near enough next to impossible, because it was probably only about 3 or 4 degrees cooler in the shade than it was out in the actual sun. And when I took my mask off, I could feel that my skin was feeling really, really dry, especially when I let the air hit it. And one of my friends who was there as well was dressed up as the Borg from Star Trek, and he was in like a real, he was in like a real heavy costume. And I think to myself, how the hell he copes with that on, I do not know. I mean, it's the same when you see people walking around as Chewbacca from Star Wars. They're head to toe in like a full-on fur suit. And you think to yourself, how the hell do they manage that? Unless they've got some form of like air conditioning in there, whatever it is that they do to try and cool down.
Yeah, it's strange how like far people will go, how far they'll push themselves to put a costume on. I mean, as I said, I've had experience with that with some of my giant heads, and even though some of them are only made out of paper and some are made out of EVA foam, the next one's made out of polystyrene. Yeah. It's going to be hot, but as long as I can get the head off and I can cool off, then I'm all right for a while. Yeah. But going back to the Freddy costume. You said you got the mask from a raffle. Was that like the starting point? You won the mask, so you thought, I'm doing a Freddy now.
Well, actually, the starting point was the glove.
The glove.
Yeah, the glove I'd actually acquired before the mask, and I've told this story so many times now. I can still actually remember it to this day. And funny enough, I was actually in another group to do with the films on Facebook, and somebody on there was trying to turn around and say that the 7th movie was meant to be a spoof of the original. And I saw that post, and I thought to myself, no. And I just went straight full on in there, commenting, goodness knows what else, even explaining what a spoof is, what a parody is, that sort of thing. And there was absolutely no way that movie in any way, shape or form was a spoof or parody of the original movie. And this person was sticking by her guns, trying to turn around and say it was. I was there turning around saying there is no physical way possible. A lot of my other friends on Facebook who are also in the same groups as I am, they saw this argument going on. And they were all there turning around to her saying, I don't think you want to be arguing with this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And this was back in the day when, on the old phones, if you wanted to go back to like the home page on Facebook, you just like press the back button or whatever it was. And so, of course, you get from there into the next bit, and I see that a message had come up from one of my friends, and I'd opened up the message box. And he said that he'd seen my friend at the time, I think he still is on there actually, he saw what was going on, saw what was being said, and he turned around and said to me, because of my passion, devotion, that sort of thing, that he was going to be building me a glove for free. And I was just absolutely surprised by it, because I thought to myself, I didn't think anything was going to come of it. I wasn't expecting it at all, to be truthful with you. And I thought to myself, well, a lot of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, especially in America, build their own replicas of the glove. In fact, they've even done a replica from each of the movies. And he asked me which one I wanted, and I turned around and said, well, best one to go for to start off with is the original one, which is what I've got at the moment. Yeah. It's the only one that I've got, actually.
What's it made out of?
The main bulk of it, the armature, is brass and copper. It's basically been the norm for the prop makers on the films to build the back plate, the stalls and the tips. The back plate is brass.
Yeah.
The stalls and the tips are always made out of copper. And then obviously they've been the blades, they're sort of like 1 mil thick aluminium, but they're sold on what are known as P210 steak knife blades. The original glove, which went missing, but then it's been found and is actually in display somewhere in America at the moment in a museum. the original blades on there were from a steak knife, an Echo steak knife, which were reground, remounted onto the glove to produce like the long, like talon-like blades at the end of it, and such. And the glove itself, it's like an old style work glove, which the actual builder weathered and cut himself. Because at the start of the movie, I mean, if I tell you the underside of it like that, at the start of the film, you see the person who's actually playing Freddy building the glove, cutting off like the tips of the fingers of each of the, of each of the fingers of the glove, to give it the look that it has. But I mean, that's just basically been the norm for all of the gloves that they've made throughout the original set of movies, from the first one all the way through to number 6. When they did the 7th one, they made the glove look a bit more organic, like it was actually part of Freddy, and even added one on the thumb. So he had like 5 blades instead of 4. But in that one, he wasn't the Freddy that everybody knows. In the sense, it was going to be like an evil entity, a demon sort of entity, which had sort of like been manifested in the form of Freddy throughout the movies, and liked the form so much that he basically stayed as him. And sort of like after once the films had been finished, he sort of like let loose and just carried on being the way he was, which was the concept of that movie, which I thought was very, very clever at the time. I actually remember seeing it at the cinema, funny enough, 25 years ago with my best friend. It was the first one that he'd ever seen, only because I dragged him along to see it.
Yeah, the whole claw, the blades, and the glove. That's just iconic Freddy. If somebody, even if they haven't watched the movies, if they haven't watched the movies, but they see that weapon, they can instantly put it to the person that it belongs to. It's like Batman and his Batmobile, really, isn't it?
It's like with anything. Any weapon is considered iconic. I mean, think about it, like the lightsabers. Everybody knows that's Star Wars. James Bond's got his Walther PPK. In the terms of horror, Leatherface has his chainsaw. Jason has his machete, and of course Freddy has his glove. They're all iconic. I mean, let's put it this way: it's almost like if they didn't have those, it would feel like their right arm had been cut away from them. It's an extension of their personality. It's funny enough what way that sort of Robert the way that Robert Englund describes it. The glove is an extension of Freddy's personality and his the evil that he manifests. And like I say, it is so iconic. In fact, some of my friends whose girlfriend or wives or whatever it is, they sort of like became sort of like fascinated by it, and even opposed replicas themselves, because it is such a fascinating item.
Yeah. So obviously with like iconic weapons and items of film and TV, is there like a specific like one that you would like to either own or that you've had your eye on that you'd like to have made for you?
Funny enough, there is another weapon that I do like the look of from another film, which I pretty much wore the video out when I had it on video cassette. We are going old school now.
Yeah, video cassettes.
What's a video?
Yeah.
I've been thinking,
For
what's a
anybody who doesn't
video?
know what a video cassette is, it's this. It's one of these things. That's a video cassette.
Oh, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. This is for any people who are like less than 20 years old and don't know what one is. I mean,
that is true.
When I first had VHS and things like that, it wasn't even VHS back then. It was Betamax. That's when.
It was.
We had
which a lot of people would say was the much better, much superior format to VHS, but because
Mm.
It was something that the Americans just did not like or just did not seem familiar with. They just thought, well, we'll stick to VHS, and VHS won out at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Well, our family eventually had to get a VHS player because me being the scientist of the family decided to start taking it apart, and
Yeah.
I put it back together. I put it back together with about 3 less pieces. So
Did
I
it
was,
still work, though?
I was on like 4 at the time, something like that. It worked for a bit. That's
So
the whole reason why.
So instead
You got
of trying to stick a slice of toast in it, you decided to take it apart instead.
yeah. This is why I love science. This is why I'm in a science type job. I love taking things apart, putting them together, like seeing how things work. I mean, I was half tempted to take my oven apart the other day because it broke. But when it comes to electrics of that magnitude, I'm thinking probably best leave that to somebody who knows a bit more than me.
Yeah.
But I gave in. I ordered a new oven. It's being delivered in a few days, and hopefully I can.
I was going to
Hopefully I
say,
can get it
if you
installed.
tried taking that apart, it probably would have been a shocking experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, for the delivery, I've got to unhook it for the delivery people, but because it's literally just one cable and then 3 wires coming off it, literally you ground your earth and you're live. That's it. All I got to do is just take a photo of what it looks like before, and then just plug the wires back in, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't see why you just can't have like a big plug and just shove it in the wall. Why do you have to like cut the end off and then have to rewire it? It's like, oh, pain in the butt. But
I know it's a pain, but there we go.
Yeah, hopefully my dad can help out because he's rewired plugs and things before in the past, so he should be able to have a look at it. If not, I've got to pay somebody to do it, so I can find an electrician local to do it.
But we're digressing here.
we are digressing a little bit.
Yes, we are digressing. Yeah, so the weapon I would like to own as a replica, definitely not a real one because you can't get a real one for love nor money, and I'll probably get into trouble. Is the replica of the gun from RoboCop.
Oh yeah, the one that comes out of his leg.
Yes. They call it the Auto 9. Basically, what it is an extended version of a gun that actually exists. It's the Beretta M93R, which is like a machine pistol.
Yeah, that's quite strange because my next costume, which is Albert Wesker, he uses a modified Beretta M92 FS, also known as a Samurai Edge. Yeah. I can get a replica Samurai Edge, but only with a Resident Evil collector's box set, which is like hundreds of pounds. So I found a 92 FS on eBay for about something like 15 quid, like a BB style one. Just
modify it yourself.
I can get a friend of mine to just literally 3D print me any extra parts I need. Obviously work on the handle, things like that. So I can take it apart, rework it. I can stop it from firing completely because I'm not going to be firing BB pellets out of it. So I can disassemble it and get rid of it.
Yeah, and just basically use it for posage and photos and that sort of thing.
Posage and photos, and that's it. And I was just flicking through. I was looking for it, and I typed it in, and I got to the point where I said, I can't find the information. So I literally just typed into Google, what gun does Albert Wesker use in Resident Evil 5? And he says, this one. So then I went onto eBay, and I started looking at showing all the collector's items. And I thought, okay, let me do a bit more research. So I found out the name of it, found out the brand, found out the model, then went back onto eBay again, found another one. I found a really good replica, but it was like 27 quid. And because they'd sold one recently, they decided to put the price up further because they'd only got one left. So I thought, no, I can't spend that much on something I'm only going to be using a couple of times a year. So I found another one, which is about 15 quid, which looks the part. I mean, if you just look at it from looking at its sake, you know it's not the real deal. It's not the proper Samurai Edge gun, but it's close enough. A couple of modifications, a bit of paint, it'd be absolutely fine.
Bob's your uncle. You basically got what you need. I've seen a few 3D printed versions of the RoboCop gun, and they are pretty spot on. Obviously, they'd be like done in like plain, almost like a plain white or whatever it is, so that you can spray paint it yourself or whatever is that sort of thing, which I know which a lot of people have done. But like I say, the gun itself, the main part of it, I say, just does not exist on the actual M93R. All it is just like the small nozzle that you come out the end, the small little barrel that comes out the end of everything. There's like a switch where someone said, like on a real Beretta, that we only fires like one bullet at a time. This switch can allow you to change from shooting one to shooting like 3 or 4 at a time. It's just basically like a pistol version of a machine gun. It's such a lethal looking thing. But when they were making the movie back in 1986, the person who wrote it say, well, the end of it should look like a sarcophagus because it's death. And one thing led to another in all the discussions, and the person who built the bit that goes on the gun showed it to the writer, and he said, do you want to fire it off? And he was like staying in a hotel room at the time. And they said, we'll go into the bathroom, we'll fire it off and everything. Obviously, you can't do that now, because otherwise you get sent to prison for it. But they fired it off. There was like gunpowder residue in the room, whatever it is. I think it set the smoke alarms off with the place, whatever it is, that sort of thing. But it is such. I mean, like, talking about iconic weapons, that is as iconic as the ones that we've already talked about. I mean, originally the gun they were going to have is the gun that you see. I don't know if you've seen the first RoboCop.
Many times.
Yeah. Well, the gun that's in the boardroom, where they do the simulation with Ed Turner, where it goes all.
Where it goes nuts. Yeah.
Well, that gun originally, the Israeli Desert Eagle, was going to be the gun that they were going to give. They were going to have RoboCop use, but put it in his hands. They said it looked like a cat pistol.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
Yeah, hence the reason why they then decided to go for the M93R, and then called it, in the script they called it the Auto 9, which is the name it's sort of stuck with since then. But yeah, that is the other iconic weapon I would love to have.
Yeah, so we're coming to the end of the interviews. Obviously, it's been a pleasure having you on. We always ask at the end of the interview for a guest comment question. So have you got a question that you would like to ask anybody in the comments section, either about what we've been talking about or anything off the top of your head? That's all.
Oh, one thing I hate about is being put on the spot and this sort of thing. Okay, anybody who's commenting, if there is any particular person you would want to cosplay, regardless of money or goodness knows what else and that sort of thing, who would it be and why?
Good question. Right, so guys, thanks for watching the interview. Obviously, you've had Matt's comment question, like basically money, no object, who would you cosplay and why? Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure having you join Talks Online for the interview. Obviously, we do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
And you, yeah. So obviously, everybody out there, obviously, we wish you all the best. Obviously, in the current political and social climates out there, we do ask you to keep safe and look after yourselves. And Matt, we'll see you at a convention hopefully soon. Obviously, you've stepped back a little bit, but it'd be nice to see Freddie back again, because you can't really get rid of him when it comes to films, can you?
Well, let's put it this way. When I did a podcast a couple of times with a friend of mine, colleague, he wanted me to sign off in a Freddie sort of way. So, if you don't mind, I think I would like to do the same thing here.
Go for it.
So what I would say is to everybody, sweet dreams.
Brilliant. Guys, we will see you in the next video. Toodles!
I won't be taking part in this interview, just because I've had a massive headache all day, and as you can probably see with the webcam, my children are wide awake and half naked. So
kids are a headache, believe me.